and welcome to this channel where it's all about life and life. Every Friday we do lives, and this time it's not Friday, it's Saturday, but we had some inconveniences with our power, and today is the day that we have decided to actually go on and do our live. Thank you so much for tuning in. Subscribers, you're amazing. And those of you who are dropping by for the very first time, you're welcome to this channel. Today, we are talking about the 7 killers that slowly destroy relationships. Yeah, that is the title. And if you're one who is interested in bettering your relationship, you tune in and you will be blessed that you tuned. You'll be glad that you tuned in. And we have several things that we are going to be discussing about. One of them is people are wondering why most relationships these days end without a big fight. That is a common thing that is going on. You know, they die quietly without you even noticing. Before you realize, love fades, there's distance, you know, and one day you wake up and you're lying next to a stranger and it's not the same anymore. So you could be there wondering, why does that happen? Today we are going to be handling just that. And if you're one who is interested in bettering your relationship, yeah, today we are dealing with the 7 killers that destroy relationships. You know, relationships are destroyed on a daily basis. Most of them don't end up with fights. I mean, you don't see people fighting, arguing, you know, throwing things around. These relationships die quietly without even realizing, you know, love fades, there's distance between the two of you, and one day you wake up and you've just had enough and you're out of a relationship. So we are discussing those killers. So tell a friend, grab a cup of tea or cup of coffee, and together let us build our lives. As I adjust my camera to a centered position so that it's not more on the right but on the left. Yeah, yes, that is more like it. Thank you guys for hanging in, and I hope you enjoy. Tell a friend, and if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and share the link. Together, let us, you know, build our relationships. I'll give it a few minutes before we start. I'm trying to share the link so others can also tune in and be able to enjoy the program. And I don't know whether the lighting is good. It looks a bit dim. My camera person, okay, I think she's adjusted it. Just a few minutes, guys, and we'll officially start. Thank you so much. Those of you who have tuned in on time, who have been waiting, thank you so much. And apologies in advance for the delays. Our shootings or live shoots are dependent on our power situation. When it changes, things change up here and there, but we are still, you know, hopeful that things will get better. So I'm trying to set everything and we start. So today we are going to be talking about, we are going to be exposing the 7 killers of relationships that no one talks about, but almost every couple faces. Those 7 killers, guys, if you're one who is yet to start a relationship, if you've started one and experienced them, join in and share your experience and stay till the end. It might just save your relationship if you tune in and pick a few things here or there. So in a few, we'll be starting. I'm waiting on those who have not yet tuned, and I'll give them a few extra 1 minute and then we'll start. So right now we are going to be starting. So those who have not yet joined will have to find us because time is up now. Today I'll start off with a story of this couple that I know of that were married for 12 years. They never really fought, but slowly they stopped laughing together, touching each other, and eventually they became roommates. They just stopped talking. Like when you have a roommate, you don't have to necessarily talk to them, but you can live with them. You can share utensils, but really you are done with the whole thing already. So that's what happened to this couple. And it got me thinking, there were those silent things that could have been, addressed and the relationship saved, but they didn't pay attention to them and the relationship was not able to stand. So we are dealing with those, you know, relatable things that no one is talking about. We are exposing those silent killers that no one is talking about, but almost every couple faces. Those are the ones we are going to talk about. We are going to talk about one of the seven killers of relationships is emotional neglect. We will go deeper into that one. And there is also unspoken expectations that we'll talk about as well. We will talk about poor communication because that's a killer for just about anything. And let's not miss it. For relationships, it's very, very key. There's also that routine and boredom. Boredom destroys relationships, guys. So, in case you've been wondering, I was with this person, we started off well, we never fought, and everything seemed okay, normal as usual, you could find that one of these reasons was a reason why that relationship didn't work or didn't last. So if you tune in and stay longer and stay till the end, you will learn a few things here or there. Now, I've given you a few pointers for starters, but we'll start off with the first one, which is today we are going to be handling the causes, the killers, and also the tips to how to avoid all this so that you can, have a chance for your relationship to stand. We'll start off with unspoken expectations. When relationships are starting, oh my goodness, we all have expectations. You think that when you have married this girl, she'll be cooking, she'll be cleaning, she'll be helping around, she'll be your support system, she will have those children. There are so many things that we have expectations of in a relationship. And sometimes those expectations are way up there. And just because I've not shared with them with you, it is so easy for for you to be disappointed because I don't know exactly what it is that you expected from me or our relationship. So what I'll do will be to wait until you try and meet them, only to be disappointed and you actually do nothing about it. And after hanging in there for a year, for a month, you know, I just hand in the towels and leave. Many relationships have ended that way. The unspoken, expectations. Those ones have led so many people to give up on relationships. Just a minute, there's someone also who wanted to join and is just asking for a link so that I'm going to share and then we will officially take off. Now that is done, we are officially free to start, because these ones have been on my case. They didn't want to miss, and I had forgotten to send a link just before we started. So hopefully this will help someone who has been wondering when is it starting, because the timing today has been different, guys. We normally do these live shoots on Fridays, but today we did an exception. We're doing Saturday because all day yesterday there was no power and all night. So today, when it happens to come back, I decided instead of us skipping that live, we do it on a Saturday. So those of you who don't know or who are wondering why is it on a Saturday today, it is because of that setback of power. But we won't allow that to set us back. We are doing it today, and thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, subscribers. And those of you who are not yet subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscription button. You'll be able to get notifications as and when our lives drop in, and you'll be able to join. We talk about so many things, and basically, these lives are about life. Sometimes it's finances, sometimes it's leadership, sometimes it's uh, um, sometimes it's relationships, all kinds of things that life can throw at you. Lillian, thank you so much for tuning in. I can see you tuned in, and thank you so much for hanging in there. I know the time change um, has flipped up on so many people, but thank you so much and good evening. And thank you so much, King. Thank you so much for tuning in. Guys, today we are talking about the 7 killers of relationships. You know, those things that slowly destroy relationships. We realize that most relationships don't end with a big fight. People don't necessarily fight. Hi, Jasper. People don't necessarily fight. They actually, these relationships die quietly without you even realizing. Love fades. There is distance that has grown between the two of you. And one day you wake up and you are next to a stranger. And guess what you do after that? You just walk away because you don't like the setting and you don't like who you're with. So those killers are the ones we are going to be talking about today. You can feel free, it's a live chat, to drop in your comments. Feel free to call in on plus 256 762 599 138. I will be able to pick your call and we will hear your story as well. And if I don't read your comments straight away, it's because I am finishing up on a few. But if we finish, when there's time, your comment will be read and it will be more interactive. So join in and drop your comments. I will be able to read them. Otherwise, thank you so much for tuning in. Now, in today's video, we are just exposing, we are exposing the 7 killers of relationships that no one talks about, but almost every couple faces. Those killers are the ones we are going to be talking about. So you might as well stick up to the end, and that could just about save your relationship if you're in one. And if you've just dropped out of one, it could help you not make the same mistake for the new one that you're about to get in. I gave an example of this couple when I was starting. This couple that had been married for 12 years. They never fought, never had any big fights. Every time you would see them, they are together, they are talking, they are touching, holding hands, until one day, they just stopped being together, and everyone was wondering what's going on with them. Yet the silent killers had scraped their way in and actually got into their relationships. I don't want to miss this person that has just dropped a comment. It says Ravenge, happy family. Thank you so much. I remember you from last Friday. Apologies on Friday. We didn't get to shoot because of the power problem, but you're welcome and thank you so much for tuning in. Where is Tata today? He will come in. I hope so. Today he will come in and we can, be together. And Lillian says, thought I had missed the live stream yesterday. Sorry about the power issue. Yeah, it was power and I felt really bad. that people like you, Lillian, Ravike, I'm also waiting for the lawyer, economist, and socialists to come in. Guys, you were a good sport last Friday, and today, thank you so much for looking out for the channel. I changed the days to Saturday simply because it's the day we happen to have power. Those of you who are not in Uganda, guys, things are happening, and it's really nice to be here. We get load shedding, but we handle. But I'm so glad that you've tuned in. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are talking about the 7 killers of relationships, and like I said, there are those silent killers that have ended many people. I have ended up leaving people single, not because they wanted to be single, but they don't know. They keep on saying, I don't know why. I had someone in my life without arguing, without quarreling, without fighting. They just say they were done with the relationship and just walked away. Now, the reason why that happens is what we are going to deal with today. We are going to expose those 7 killers. I call them 7, but there are quite many. And it's a live chat. Go ahead. Give me your experience, Ravinge. Vivian, give me your experience. Jasper, share your experience. And together, let us build ourselves and probably have better relationships. One of them that I talked about was the unspoken expectations. We tend to have unspoken expectations. You never speak about them, but when I'm getting into a relationship with a guy, I'm expecting he will provide. I will just, turn the other side and he will guess that I need this and then give it to me, only to find out much later that even when I do those things, this guy is doing nothing. There's those expectations. You get married and you think, when I get married, the man will be able to take care of my family, and then you get married to him or in a relationship with him, and he's like, I'm not here to take care of your family. So that can kill a relationship, guys. But also there is this other thing of men having expectations when they are marrying. You think you're marrying your mother, she'll be cooking, she'll be cleaning, bearing children, welcoming your family members, only to get there and she doesn't want to know. That can also kill a relationship. Lillian has just dropped a comment on that one. And she says, relationships are very complex, and reasons that ruin our relationships are many. That is very true. There are so many reasons why relationships are ruined. Very many, and I'm yet to hear from you guys, Ravinge, Lillian, Jasper. Yeah, you guys share and let me know what you think ruins relationships, because there are quite many. I've summarized mine to just 7, and those 7 are the ones I will give as reasons as to why relationships are killed or destroyed. And Jasper says, Jasper says, relationships are very hard to handle. I know, but that doesn't mean we stay away from them. People still get involved on a daily. And there are these men who can juggle more than one in one go. Can you imagine? Or women or ladies that can juggle more than one in one day. So give us your experiences. Mr. Ravinge, I need to hear from you. What is your take, and what is your your reason for, or some of those reasons that that have caused relationships to be ruined or destroyed? I gave you an example. It is the unspoken expectations. When we get into a relationship, we are expecting different things. I'm expecting you to provide. You're expecting me to bear children, cook and clean, and be welcoming and warm. And then you get there and I'm doing none of those things. The last thing I did was, take cooking lessons. So I don't know how to cook. That alone could make you start thinking that you probably made a mistake and you should leave me and go to someone who knows how to cook. But again, that shouldn't be the reason, because when you meet someone, there's a tendency for us to shy away and and not speak on core things, your expectations. So the solution to me would be, you speak your needs clearly. Don't wait for them to guess. Don't wait for your partner to guess. Like, probably he's thinking I'll be cooking, probably he's thinking I'll be providing, I'll be cleaning. Let us state when we are doing, if we're going to help our relationships, let us state our expectations or needs clearly. When you meet someone, be like, hey, I'm tired of being single. I don't know how to cook. I would love someone who knows how to cook and clean. When we do that, guess what will happen? We'll get into a relationship where I already know you expect me to cook, and so I'll work on my cooking skills. And if you know that I expect you to provide, you try and hustle before you get someone in your house, because I need fine things. So you'd work hard and make sure that money expectation is also out of the way. So I think one way to solve that issue of unspoken expectations is really to just speak of our needs clearly. That would sort it. I don't know what your opinion is, Mr. Ravinge, Happy Family, or Lillian, or Jasper, or whoever it is that is silent but watching. Yeah, Lillian has just responded and says some people get into a relationship with different agendas. That is very true. But again, you can say different agendas when some of these, there's a gentleman that I'll tell you about. He got into a relationship with this really, really expensive girl, but very fine. And his friends kept on telling him, but that girl doesn't love you. She loves you for your money. Because that two could not measure. That guy had nothing except money. And this woman was looking the other side and going for the money all the time, demanding, I want a new car, fuel my car, get me this phone, do this for me. I need to move from one apartment to another. And the guy kept on doing these things. So the friends were like, we feel like she's a gold digger. She's always extorting from you. But the man said, I really don't care. Why do you think I worked so hard to get this money? So that I don't have to chase after girls, but they will come to me. So there are, like Lillian said, hidden agendas. Yes, there is that. But again, some of these men are ready for, it looks like all relationships these days are now different. We are like ready for anything. I'm ready for your lies and you are ready for mine. I know you don't love me, you love my money, but that's okay. I know, you don't look good, but you come from a rich family. I just want children. There are so many reasons, like Lillian has said, as to why people go into relationships. And in the end, those reasons are the ones that break down our relationships. Another thing that I feel that is under the expectations is pretense. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine we start off on the wrong foot? I meet you, you lie about everything about you. I lie about where I come from, who my actual parents are. These days in Uganda, guys, those of you who don't know where I'm from Uganda, and that is where this live broadcast is. So our thing is, when you find a man, you get to introduce that gentleman to your family. And once he comes to the family, he's supposed to bring certain things. They can decide, bring cows, bring this and the other, and you're supposed to bring them as bride price for the girl. Now, when that happens, normally, before it used to be in the parents' home, but these days you can hire a home where the introduction is going to take place. That means once the event is done, if you have issues with a girl, you have no proper address to go and complain because the parents don't actually live there. That was for the ceremony. Can you imagine? And then you can find that the auntie was hired for the event. The sisters that came and greeted were also perfect strangers, just friends or people who happened to be able to buy the attire for the introduction and be able to come and greet. So all this is fake. At the end of the day, when you're having issues in a relationship, there will be no genuine person to turn to because it started off all on the wrong foot. And as for the guys, we apparently can hire the animals that parents ask for, and we can hire all these gifts that they bring in. You bring in gifts of flat screens, gifts of so many things that can be brought in on the event. But all those could be hired. And once the event ends, The moment they finish greeting and the guests have seen the gifts, they go through the back door and back to the vans or the trucks, and off they leave the ground. So everything starts off on the wrong foot. Definitely, it will end up on the wrong page altogether. Now, I've just seen a comment that I'll respond to from Lillian. She says, such fake introductions do not give any real any relationships good start. That is very true, but that's the day that we live in. Fakeness, the guys pose with money, I pose with my parents and the people the family where I come from. It's basically fake ground that you start off your relationship, and it's definitely going to end up on sinking, sand, because there's no foundation to it of truth. And Ravenge says, Ravenge, says, the only thing that destroys relationship is to choose wrong number, because every person have their exact partner. That is very true. But there's reasons why people make those mistakes. You said choosing the wrong person, yeah? You could ideally choose a person based on what has been presented. Like if I present myself to you like I am kind, I'm patient, I can cook, I'm loving, you will fall for that. And then after you've gotten me to your house and we're actually living together or in a relationship, my true colors come out. I don't like your people coming over. I'm quarrelsome, I'm impatient, I'm extravagant, or because we put up fronts for what we want to get in the end. I want to get you, so guess what? I'm at my best. Have you ever gone visiting people and you wear your best wear, but actually let them come surprisingly at home and find you in God knows what? Because that is you, the real you at home. So when we are meeting partners, we normally don't present ourselves in truthfulness. So even you guys, when you're coming and interested in, like Ravenge, when you're interested in a girl, you come and flaunt money like it's not a problem. Guess what? After some time, you stop flaunting the money when I've fallen for you. And then I'm starting to wonder, is he really still interested in me? Because before you were lavishing me with money. And then after that, you cut all the supplies. I talk about airtime or data, you're like, not today. And before you know it, I'm thinking I should find someone else, because where you started off from is where I would want you to relationship from the same foot. But then when you change, it's a bit discouraging and I ran away. Don't lie, I'm still poor. Ravenge, you're not poor. You're not poor, you are rich. You're not poor because you try and come back home and tell anyone that you're looking for a partner or someone. You see how fast that will happen. Guys, any man here who can afford to get on a plane and go somewhere, you are good. People who are poor cannot get on the plane. So Ravenge, you're doing well. Just say I want to get someone and hang in there. You never know. The ladies are always silent. I hope a lady could come up and say, Ravenge, you are not poor. And that could assure you that you're not. But anyway, I'm back to our points, reasons why relationships fail. The emotional neglect is one of those other reasons why relationships are destroyed. Emotional neglect, when partners stop meeting each other's emotional needs. This is not only about, having sex with your partner, it's beyond that. Checking in or emotionally on your partner, and checking on regularly. You mean when people are interested in each other, they text. In the morning he texts and says, "How are you doing?" In the afternoon, "Have you had lunch? How is your day going?" Unnecessarily checking in on. But then once you've gotten them hooked, guess what happens? You stop being interested, stop the that takes the effort, that emotional neglect can lead to a relationship being destroyed. You know, uh, you stop making your partner or your relationship about each other, and you start thinking about other things. I've got to go to work. You see, uh, and you stop seeing your partner or hearing your partner out or understanding each other. Before, when a guy is trying to get a woman on his side, you're seeing her. She dresses up, oh, you look good in orange. And she's like, oh, are you sure? Because it's orange. And that compliment alone is, one of those things. Us ladies are more of emotional connectors. We do not relate easily or quickly on any other ground except the emotional basis. Where if you get to my heart, then I'll pour myself out to you. But if you don't, then I'm after your money and I'm ready to run with the next good thing that happens to me. But if you can be able to touch a woman's emotions, those small, small things, complimenting her, hearing her when she's complaining about something, and then you do something about it. So, like I complain that you never ever listen to me when I'm telling you, try and do something about that, or you never help me around the house. If you are a wise man, you would help. And guess what will happen? That woman will stick around because just that is foreplay. It's good enough for the woman to open up and be a better person that you can relate with. And understanding each other. And this is not only for the ladies. Now, the ladies, we need to see our men. When the man, goes to work and comes home with food for you to cook, you don't be like, instead of bringing fish, I asked for fish, you brought peanuts. You think this would actually make a sauce. You are not able to see his effort. If we are able to see each other in a relationship, hear each other. When the man is saying, I don't like this, try and work on it. The lady is saying, I don't like this to the gentleman. Try, ladies, and adjust, because that will help our relationships get better. Now, remember what we talked about was emotional neglect. The moment those things are neglected, I don't know about you, Ravenge or Lillian or Jasper, who is tuning in, what you think of that one. But I think also emotional neglect can cause a relationship, to break or to be destroyed. Emotional neglect. I need to hear from you guys. And those of you who are dropping by for the first time, you're welcome. If you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And together, let us build our lives. Fridays is normally the day we do that. Ravenge, thank you so much for following it through. And Lydian, Jasper, thank you so much, guys, for following that through and actually tuning in for Saturday, because Saturday is not a day we do lives. It is normally Friday. And so you guys tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in and subscribing. Now, another thing that breaks, actually, we are going to look at the tips, but Lillian says, I think things, I'm just reading Lillian's comment. I think things like working hard or long hours, children, babies contribute to emotional neglect. That is very true. Very, very true. But maybe Lillian can explain further on that one. Though I'll give my take on how that could contribute. Working hard or long hours, that can actually contribute. Because imagine people who are not living in Uganda, or even in Uganda where we come from. Both partners go off to work and they leave in the morning at about 6, they're out of the house, and they return home at about 8:30, with the traffic and all that. One can return at 8:30, another one 10 or 9:30. There's really not much time spent together to try and build a relationship. That is where the other bit of, checking on each other regularly comes in. Because even when you're at work, you can drop in a text, you can call in for lunch and we have breakfast or lunch together, or we can choose to come home together. You pick me at work and I come back with you. That is one way you can try and save a relationship, because there is no way we can cut out work. We all need money and we all need it coming and coming really good. So the solutions would be to try and improvise in between there during the day. But Lillian talked about also children. And she said children contribute to emotional neglect as well because they are demanding. But Lillian is explaining, especially who are abroad where partners are working different shifts with different hours. That is so true. When you're working different hours, different shifts, that can also take a toll on a relationship. Because can you imagine? Lillian is saying abroad where people work different shifts. There are those who go in the morning and they work 5 to 8. There are those who work, 7 to 3, and others who work 5 to 8 or 8 to 6. Those different shifts can really take a toll. There is really no time that you can spend together that is enough. And you cannot, abroad, you cannot come visiting at the workplace, unlike Uganda. So those of you who are abroad, you should come and try it in Uganda. Uganda, you can visit your partner. And Lillian says night shifts and day shifts. Oh my goodness, that is terrible. Can you imagine the gentleman is going off to work during the day and the lady has to work in the night? Because in those countries abroad, there is no day, there is no night. Anytime you can work, anytime, because night is the same as day. Yeah, that can really take a toll on a relationship. It really can. And I hope, guys, we can, just pray, because like Lillian said, those shifts are needed for the money. So there's really not much chance for relationship. Maybe that explains why there are so many divorce rates in the European countries. Because there is basically, if you don't take the initiative to really, if you're not determined to really make your relationship work, then chances are it could die a sudden death. Because without fighting, you just grow apart. Before you know it, there's distance between you, you're not laughing, you're not talking together, there was no fight, but you just lost each other along the way. Yeah, that can happen. Now, among the solutions of emotional neglect, I would think it's deep sharing, where you can talk about things and you share with each other. Tell me what you feel. Those things that hurt you about me. And this can only happen when we are not shy with each other. We love each other enough to be clear and open with each other. To have deep talks, leave alone shallow talks where we talk about, yeah, work is fine, yeah, we had breakfast, yeah. I mean, deep talks, those worries, the fears, those things can keep us together if we only try to do that. And Lillian says, and people are too tired by the time they are done with those 12-hour shifts. Yeah, there's really not much you can do after that. But does that mean there is no hope for people who are abroad? Does that mean there is no hope, or is it better that when you're abroad, you get a partner who stays home and takes care of children, and then when you come back, you manage with the little funds that you have? Because I think the solution would be if you really sacrifice and say, let us deal with one income. But again, in those countries, you're better off having a partner than not having anyone, because bills can be split. It works better that way. Bills are easily split. Maybe someone who has had a relationship abroad can give a comment and let us know whether it has worked for them, how they were able to keep it going regardless. Another thing that could help such a relationship if you're abroad is if you find a partner in the same line of business. Say like we are all surgeons. We are talking razor blades, we are talking scissors, we are talking bandages, cotton wool. That can work maybe because we are taking the same breaks and working the same shifts. Maybe that could give a fighting chance to our relationships of today. Other than that, I don't think there is really much hope, except one of you chooses to be a stay home parent or partner and the other one goes to work, or you all agree we work in the morning 7 to 3 and that's it, not doing 5 to 8. That could give it a chance. I don't know what Lillian thinks is the solution to this one. Ravenge, you're so quiet. I need to hear from you. And those of you who are watching, guys, feel free to drop a comment. It's a live chat. And we are talking about the killers that destroy relationships. You know, those things that really destroy relationships. Without fights, you just grow apart, and before you know it, you're separated. You're living with a total stranger. Those are the things that we are talking about today, and we've talked about unspoken expectations and also emotional neglect. Number 2. Now, the other point that I could talk about is poor communication. Avoid uncomfortable topics in a relationship. Like someone is in a relationship and they start asking, so how many boyfriends have you had since since you've lived? Those are uncomfortable topics. Some people don't feel comfortable to talk about their journey, where they've been and who they've been with. How many kids have you had? Many of us ladies lie about the number of children that we've had, the relationships that we've been through, because sometimes we're not proud of what we have done or where we've been. And I'm sure even you guys, there are things that you don't feel comfortable talking about. Lillian says, I agree. Communication is key in a relationship. It is really key. You tell me where you have been, tell me about, but again, there's a way we pretend. I get married or I get into a relationship with you and I make up a whole new profile about myself. Who my parents are, I can actually choose to kill all of them and say I'm an orphan. I was adopted when my parents are actually there, but I just don't want to know because they are not probably up to my standards right now that I'm trying to get up to. And so you lie. Otherwise, being open and telling your journey, your story, how many children you've had, where you've worked, how many boys, those uncomfortable topics, stay away from them until you've established a ground where such topics can stay. Yeah, I think we can resolve the issue of communication by talking about those things that are dear to us. If someone is dear to you, like your mother, and that's why you want her to come over every weekend, tell it to me. Let me know exactly why you're that attached to your mom. And probably I'll treat her better and our relationship will stand. Or if you have any ailments, there are those diseases that run in the family. Don't hide them. Let me know about them, because then either I'll feel empathy for you or I will understand you better and will be able to help you or work it out in a relationship based on such circumstances. But if you hide it from me, later when I find out, I may just leave. There are people there is a gentleman that I know of. He got this girl from church and thought he had actually gotten a virgin girl, only to find out much later that she wasn't. And the moment the guy found out, he started telling her you know, to be the one to teach him all the things about relationships, because for him, he has not been with anyone, and yet he had. It's just that he was hurt. His expectations, like remember when we started, we talked about unspoken expectations. He expected so much from her, but he never spoke or asked or tried to find out what it is that she was about, only to get deeper in a relationship and finding out that she had actually had even some kids, just because she had, taken good care of her body. And she didn't look like she had had children. She had had. And once the man found out, that was the end of the relationship. So there are those things that we don't talk about that can kill or take out our relationships just like that. Now, if we can work on them and communicate clearly and avoid uncomfortable topics, avoid them until you've established ground with your relationship, then But also you can schedule open and honest talks without distractions. You purpose on this and this day, we will go here, we will talk, we will discuss this and the other, and that would help your relationship. Ravenge says, in this generation, there is, he says, in this generation, there is no virgin woman. Never, there is no virgin woman. Never be there. Never, she will never be there. Oh my dear, they are still there. It's just that the ones you have met have not been. Ravenge, they are there. Like you said, there is a right person for everyone out there. But when you men are looking for partners, not only you men, but also us ladies, but when the men are looking, you're literally shopping for body parts. You're not looking for a holistic person. One who comes with the brains, one who comes with the skills, one who comes with love. You're looking for, oh, she's got a nice nose, and that is taking you into a relationship. She's got a beautiful smile, she's got nice legs, a nice body. Those are not grounds for a relationship. And when things go haywire, when things go sour, you need to remember the reason why you found that person. Otherwise, we really need to focus on the things that are key when we are looking for partners in life. Another thing about us ladies, we go looking for a man who will provide. So if you come showing like money is not a problem, I will go for you, only to get there and you're not even employed and you're telling me you're between jobs. Let's be honest when we are relating. They are virgins, just like they are still men who are, you know, truthful like you, Ravenge. You say you're poor. You're not poor, you're just not being truthful. You're somewhere. Remember they told you last time that poverty is not there's something he said is not someone said on the other podcast. It's not like a flag that we carry. It's the temporal stop where you stop and it changes anytime. It can change anytime. So you're not poor. And you say, no, 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 you lie, mama. No, 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 you are not poor, Ravenge, you are rich. Even the Bible tells us that let the weak say I'm strong, let the poor say I'm rich. You are rich. And trust me, you'll get someone. And we'll hear it on this podcast that Ravenge is now taken and off, the list. Don't hide yourself under the umbrellas of I'm poor, because you're not. And guys, this is a live podcast. Go ahead and drop in your comments. Feel free to call in on +256 762 599 138. Lillian says, Roger, I'm sure those women are there. Can the question be reversed to men? Roger, tell us, can this be reversed to men? Are there still virgin men? That is what Lillian is asking. Because you said there are no virgin women anymore anywhere. And Lillian is asking, can it be reversed to men? If there is any gentleman there, as well as Ravenge, let us know if they are still there. Because there's someone who gave an example of a watermelon. If you go to the market to buy watermelons, would you want to buy a watermelon that they already sliced off? Or you would want to go for one that is whole? Remember, if ladies are losing virginity, they are not losing it alone. It's with you men. So you should be ready to also take home ladies that are not virgins. It does not mean relationships are better only with virgin women. Yeah, it's not written anywhere that the virgin women are the only ones that last in marriages. Even those that are not, that made mistakes in the past and learned from them, can actually make nice people in partners in relationships. So Ravenge, if that's the reason why you're still single, stop looking for virgins unless you are one as well, like Lillian has put it. If you're not, then I think it is best we all work on ourselves. Look for your kind. I'm not rich. I shouldn't go stretching my hands so high to try and get to the rich people, trying to get a rich man. because that rich man will not treat me right because he will know that I'm not rich. I don't come from a rich background, so he will mistreat me. And because of that, guess what? The relationship may not work because I may not stand in for long. Just like I got looking for a very, very, very poor girl because that will be easy to manipulate. Yeah. Now, if I get someone who is so beneath me, I will always be bending to my toes, trying to reach them. And my back will give up on me. And guess what? That relationship will die a sudden one as well. It's best we get someone on our level, like, up to your level. You have some money. You use that money to uh what you have. If you get someone who is to your level, don't aim so high and don't stoop so low. But get something that is balanced, someone who will uplift you, and together you make a beautiful thing. That is what I can say about that one. And the other thing is routine and boredom. That is one thing I also believe kills relationships. When men are pursuing ladies, Ravenge, you tell us on this one, and Lillian, you support me if I'm right. Uh, routine and boredom can cause a relationship to be destroyed. Getting stuck in the same pattern and losing excitement. You got this girl, you always eat at 7, it's at the dining table, you sleep at 8, you read newspapers in the bed just before sleep, and you do this over and over. There's no excitement, there's no spontaneity where you're spontaneous. You just drop up on me and be like, let us go out. Those excitements keep a relationship going. So if you lost it, Ravenge, if you had lost it, virginity won't alone make that relationship stand. It is also those other nitty gritties that we add to our relationships that will make them stand. Keeping it excited. There's a thing we have. We tend to think that when you pour injecting so much money in a relationship, then it lasts. That doesn't. I know of a lady who was with a rich man, and the man would give her literally everything, but she ended up leaving that relationship and going for someone who doesn't have even half of the money the other guy was giving. Why? Because the other relationship was boring, was lonely. Things that you accumulate do not, take away the loneliness. They can help cope, but they don't take away loneliness. So you can, bring excitement in a relationship just by going for walks. Let us go for a walk. Walks do that fresh air. I don't know what it does, but it just brings new vibes to a person, and it brings you closer. You can also just choose, let us go and sit by the lake. Let us go and watch a movie. That's not a lot of money, but it can really work miracles or magic for your relationship. So those small, small things, not forgetting birthdays, anniversaries, you know, surprise surprises at home. She's always cooking. You come in and you let her go do her hair and come back when you've cooked. Those small, small things really can keep our relationships going. Not necessarily money injected in or big money. One thing I know, some men know one thing is to inject and use money. Money doesn't solve things. It is also those other small, small things that can kill the routine. You keep doing fun new things like you did when you first met. We tend to stop once we've got what we want. Before, I used to try and take care of myself. I had my hair in place, I had, my makeup in place, I was dressing up the right way. But the moment you got me, then I was like, then why do I have to even bother working harder or trying to impress? Now, the thing is to keep up, with those things that you used to do, new things every time that you used to do when you first met. They'll keep that relationship going as a solution to this problem of, you know, uh, our the killers of relationships for today. Yeah, we can keep on doing fun things, not necessarily that involve money. You can go to the museum and just look at things that you never thought were in a museum. You can choose to take a trip and go to the zoo and just look at animals. All these don't involve a lot of money. I gave examples, different small things can keep the relationship going. That is one thing that I'm thinking would help not to destroy our relationships. You can correct me on that one or add to it. And guys, it's a live podcast. Go ahead and drop your comments. We'll be able to read them. And also feel free to call in on +256 762 599 138. Your comment will be read and you can feel free to call in as well. Now, another thing that destroys relationship is unresolved conflict. You know, avoiding or shelving problems instead of solving them. Avoiding problems does not mean they've gone away. Or shelving them. When I use the word shelving, like I told you I don't like this, but guess what you do? You go on and just push it on the side. We'll handle that later. Another time. Before you know it, I've lost hope about trying to explain myself. Before you know it, I've stopped trying to be better. Why? Because anytime I tell you something, you don't pay much attention to it, and that slowly is killing and destroying our relationship. So that goes for reasons why relationships go bad. Lillian says it goes back to communication. Maybe she can elaborate on that one. Communication, yeah. Unresolved conflicts. You annoyed me or you hurt me, you forgot my birthday, you forgot to come to do what I told you to do for me. You didn't help me when I needed your help. You forgot this or the other, and you just ignored. When you got home and acted as though nothing had happened, when actually what you did hurt me. And that, before you know it, creates resentment, and before you know it, there's a big gap or distance that has been created between us, and I cannot stand you and I want out. So that also needs to be checked in. Deal with issues early and respectfully is the solution to that one. If there is any issue that has risen up, deal with it early. As and when it rises, deal with it, because when you don't and give it time, guess what happens, guys? Before you know it, I gave an example of this couple that had just gotten married, and there was a spider web that was growing in the corner of the house. And this lady would do all the chores. She would cook, she would clean. She was the dream, the kind of dream wife that you would have. And each time she's done all her housework, because they had no children yet, she would wait in the sitting room for her husband to come back. And the moment she hears he's coming, she stands at the door and runs and hugs him. Runs to the door and hugs him. So the man each time would hug, but look at the corner directly opposite the door and see a spider web being built. And then it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And before you know it, that by the end of the month, the spider web had really become big. But remember, the lady was cooking, cleaning, making sure there's a warm bath running for the husband. But she always missed that one bit. But the man always saw it and said nothing. Now, until one day he couldn't take it anymore and he said, I've had it with you. You are such a dirty woman. So dirty. And remember, they had just gotten married for about a month and a half. And they went to the pastor. He said, I wanted to separate from this woman. The pastor said, why would you do that? She seems like a very nice woman. And the woman was crying and saying, what is it that I've done? You've not told me what I've done that you're asking to be separated from me. And the man said, you're so dirty. And the pastors were like, but we've been to your house a couple of times and the house looks spotless. The meals are always cooked. And he said, come, I take you to my house. You see how dirty this woman is, how filthy she is. By the time they got home, he stood in the doorway and told him, look up. See how big that spider web is. And the pastor said, so because of this, you're leaving her? And he said, yeah, I cannot stand her. I feel I'm disgusted with her. And the pastor said, but you kept on seeing it. because she's always running off to do chores on the other part of the house. She doesn't see that which is right in front of you because you're always coming in through that door and she's always going off to make sure the rest of the house is clean. Now, from that lesson, we learn that there are things that you could see, but I don't see. There are things that you're doing that I'm not doing. You're cooking, you're cleaning, I'm bringing in the money. Guess what we need to do? We sit. If it's find a middle ground for these things and deal with issues respectfully and as early as they arise. I want to read a comment that has just come in from Ravenge. It says poverty can cause everything in relationship. Ravenge is bent on poverty. Yeah, it does. It can. But there are again people who are not so well off but have managed to run their race in relationships and have had them steady. I know in this day and age, you have to have money. True, you have to have money, but if you don't have it, you can still have a relationship. You just have to find the right person who understands you. I like the way, those of you who are not here that are watching in from abroad, I like the way those, the Europeans or the, yeah, I would call Europeans or the people in those other countries relate. You can find someone is an engineer, someone is a surgeon riding his bike to work. I'm not talking about a motorbike, but a bicycle to work. It's so humble. They do not wear their wealth. They do not flaunt their wealth. It's all stuck up in investments, in shares, in bonds, in, these other different things. And they are living simple, easy lives. But come to a black person, whether it's in America or UK or anywhere that has got money, you will know that they've got it. They wear the bling bling, the biggest chains that you can find, the biggest rocks that are out there. Unlike us, unlike those people, unlike us, the blacks, those people know how to relate and really relate. As long as I connect with you, then I can stay with you. It's not about the money, but as the black people, you've got to have a deep pocket. And if you don't, then chances are your relationship will not last long until you can supply, until you can meet my needs. I don't give you time. That is such a shame. Ravenge, you're right. You're very right in saying that poverty can cause everything in relationships. It is very true. There is a man who used to beat his children very hard over small, small things. And I remember walking with a friend and a friend saying, that is poverty disturbing that man. Had he got money, he wouldn't be like that. Because the man would beat kids, because they poured sugar, because they wasted salt. Those are small, small things, but these kids would get good beating. Say like you bring him tea, black tea, and it spills, you're wasting my sugar, and a slap comes right there, right after. I guess what Ravenge is saying is right. Poverty is the cause of everything. It is true. Now, another thing that I wanted to talk about that causes relationships to be destroyed is lack of intimacy, affection, kisses, cuddles, and even small touches. Once those disappear, that can also cause a relationship to be destroyed. You never hold my hand. While you are interested in me, you are always holding my. There's a time I went to one of my kids' school, and my kids were telling me those people are coupling, and I looked and saw it was obvious they were coupling because they were holding hands, walking together, break time. I don't know whether the school allows it, but there was this particular group of people that were doing it, and that just goes to show us, guys, when people have just met. When Ravenge, you first met that first person, I bet you are holding hands. You are not looking at your wallet or your pocket. You are striving so hard to see to it that you have money in there. Even just 1,000 would get you out and you'd go and have that juice. But things have changed up now. Now you're talking, run the card. So once the card is not straight, you're like, I'm poor. Well, we just allow money to get in between us. But really, Relationships can run without money as well. They can still run. But back to intimacy, lack of intimacy. Lack of it can cause relationships to really go dry or be destroyed once those things are not there anymore, even outside the bedroom. Because for some of us in our culture, we are groomed or programmed to think that intimacy is only in the bedroom, while it can also be out of the bedroom. She's gone off to work. You can, go with her in the morning. There's small things, help her find shoes, small things, help her do her hair, zip up her dress, small things. They don't have to be so complex, but African men have an issue. They don't know how to express how they feel. They feel, but they don't want to because they feel if I show the woman I love her, then she will start acting up, disrespecting me. There's a gentleman who said that to me one day and said, if I happen to get someone this time round, I will not allow her to have friends. Lillian says true, and Rebecca says 1,000. You mean Ugandan money or or what? Dirhams or dirhams? No. 1,000 shillings. I mean, you've had that before. You tell me all the ladies you've had in your life, you had to have millions of money on your account. I don't think necessarily you have to have that much. Even small money can really give you a good time. I mean, 1,000 Ugandan shillings, and you get it, and go and just have a drink, maybe a bottle of mineral water. Because in Uganda, you can buy mineral water at 500 shillings. If she's the right girl, she will sit down with you, even with a bottle of water, and have a good chat with you. But if she's not, that is where it comes in. We said, stretching it beyond your reach. You're going for those girls who want KFC, who want, these expensive meals out. You can go for someone of your level who will understand that you don't have, but you really want to spend time with them. Yeah. You can have a good time even with just 1,000 shillings. You take walks and then buy mineral water and just drink and continue talking, getting to know each other. And before you know it, she's pinching in. When a lady truly loves you, she will take care of you. She will be understanding when you don't have money. She will be helpful. She will be all these things that you don't ideally see ladies doing. It is because she doesn't really care that much that she does nothing about it. I know of a lady who is left with money. There is what we call kameza money, or money that is kept on the side. The man leaves it at home every day for the upkeep or for the smooth running of the home. But then there's a lady I know who always puts money in, she checks regularly in the husband's wallet because they are both working and the gentleman doesn't have, a really good paying job, and she knows that he's trying. But because she loves him, she always gets the wallet, sneaks in there thousands of money, and the man gets to work and is always surprised. I think I had money, but I didn't know I had this much. And I think if he's wise enough, he's starting to realize it's the lady putting it in there, and he leaves it on the table for the running of the house, but the lady puts it back in and adds some more to it just to ensure he's safe. Why does she do that? Because she likes him or she loves him. But if a woman is inconsiderate, if a woman is not helpful, because this is how God made us. He made us from the man's rib. A woman came from Adam's rib. Now, ribs are not at the foot where you step on them. They are not up way above you that you have to stretch to reach them. A woman is came from the rib, is supposed to be balancing you out, supporting you, ensuring you are well, and the both of you walk that journey of a relationship together. Now, the reason why she's extracting, inconsiderate, you know, not helpful and not supportive is because she really doesn't love you. If she does, I've seen ladies who buy shirts for their partners. They buy shoes, they take them out, they buy cars. ask our speaker. There are people who do those things. Why? Because they love these people. But if someone does not love you, guess what happens? They extract. So Irabenge, if you have had one and has never released any money, it's because she really didn't care. The truth is she didn't care. Because had she cared, it would be a different story. Now, another thing that I would give as a tip for that point of lack of intimacy would be prioritize physical closeness. You can just prioritize, even outside the bedroom. You just prioritize and say, when you're walking, you can hold her hand, or you can hold his hand. You can make the surprise call as well. This goes both ways. The men can call, the ladies can call. Now, another point that I had noted that is a destroyer of relationships is taking each other for granted. Forgetting to show gratitude. I do something for you, you come back home to a clean house, and you don't even seem to notice the house was clean. To say something, well done. Or I come home with the fees for the children, I'm the husband, or the male partner, and I'm the boyfriend. I make sure, food is bought at home, and you don't even notice as a lady and say, thank you for the sacrifices and thank you for bringing this home. Lack of gratitude, forgetting to show gratitude or kindness, and efforts to show any of those can also kill a relationship. When you start taking me for granted, you stop noticing that what I'm doing, whether I'm a man or I'm a woman, that could kill our relationships. Now, the tip I would give for that one is to express love on a daily basis. Every single day, express. Show the person that you care about or that you're with that you care. Ravenge, that is paramount. Show them so they don't run away from you looking for the love that you're not showing them. There is some girl who said that when I get out, my next boyfriend has to treat me really right. If she does not treat me like a queen on a daily, I'm really out. I'm not going to give them a chance. And I remember telling someone that as long as you remind her to be also able to treat that guy as a king on a daily, then things will balance out and she'll have herself a good relationship, because it has to be balanced. If it is not balanced, you're not treating me as a queen, I will not treat you as a king. Go rule your own kingdom. That's how I look at it. But if you want to be treated as a queen, treat the gentleman as a king. And if you want the gentleman to treat you as a queen, do the reverse as well. Ravenge says, for me, I don't love, but I need a woman. Oh, Ravenge, you're so funny. You're always hiding under curtains of poverty and things that are crazy. Now you've added, don't love. You don't love. Well, you love. It's in every one of us, unless you've not found that right person. You've just not found that right person. But the moment you do find her, it will come naturally. So trust me, the ones you've had in the past are not it. Because the one who ticks the right marks in your life, if she comes, you will find yourself, having sleepless nights, wanting to spend all that time with them, willing to give them even that little money you're hiding. Because some men are stingy and they're like, I won't spend my money on her. I won't be wasting it on some woman. I'm not going to be the one to take care of her people. When you love that person, guess what you will do? You will go out of your way to make sure her parents are happy, her siblings are all happy, even when you don't have much. I know of a gentleman who would not give anything to his people or contribute towards anything at his house where his parents are, but was always giving and pouring himself out to the parents of the girl. Why? Because he was truly in love with the girl and wanted everyone that was connected to her to like him and to love him because he loved the girl. Now, Ravenge, you've not yet loved. The moment you do, you will even crucify, you empty those, you turn those pockets upside down for this lady that you like. Why? Because you like her and you want her to, like you back. I think you've just not met someone, and I hope on this live, one of these days we'll find someone for Ravenge, and you stop hiding under the curtains of I don't love, but I need a woman, and I don't have money, I'm poor. You are not, and you can love. Those things are not your stigma. You can really, really be better than that. And I'll tell you, Ravenge, when this happens, that I told you so. Now, which of the following killers do you think is the most dangerous? Ravenge says, I'm waiting. Continue waiting. You see, someone will come up. But I also want to know which of these killers that we've discussed, guys, because I've dealt with all the 7 that are listed as me. Which of those killers do you think is the most dangerous? Do you think it is, what do you think, Ravenge or Lydian? You're the only people who have been active, others have been quiet. Jasper went quiet on me. I don't know. Normally there's Jenny, there's normally Audrey, but none of those are on commenting. Normally there's also Alan, but none of them are saying a word. Guys, it's been a live chat, and the number to call was there, 0762599138. And you are free to put in comments, and we were going to read them, but we are about to get to the end of our chat, and I'm asking, for me, is pure communication. Ravenge says it's poor communication that is been the deadliest. Yeah, I don't know why poor communication for you. You can maybe explain why it would be the most dangerous. Ravenge, explain to us why you would think it's the most dangerous for our relation, the most deadly killer of our relationships. And I'm here to hear from the rest. What has been your most dangerous killer of relationships? And if you have noticed, Ravenge, have you noticed any of these killers in the past or your present relationships? Let us know, guys, whether this has been, any of these topics have been, you had noticed them in your relationship, whether in your past relationships or your present relationships. If you find this helpful, share it with someone who you think or you care about, and you think it might help save their relationship. They can go and have a rewatch of this and probably borrow a thing or two. Otherwise, you can also let me know what you would want discussed next week. Drop it in the comments. Let me know what you would want us to talk about next Friday, and we will talk about it. Lydian, you can suggest a motion. Ravenge, you can. And anyone else, unrealistic expectations. Lillian says unrealistic expectation is her most dangerous. You can maybe conclude on that one. Why do you think it is the most dangerous? Ravenge, why do you think it's communication, poor communication? And Lillian, why do you think it's unrealistic expectations? Just before we conclude, I need to know why you guys resolved on those being the dangerous ones among all the topics that we have discussed. Let me know why you think they are the most dangerous, and also let me know what topics you would want us to discuss next Friday. Remember, it's Friday, not Saturday. It's just that today we did a skip and went for Saturday because of the power outage. But next Friday it will be same 9:40 on Friday, God willing, and there is no power load shedding or anything that could inconvenience, and we are in good health. It's Fridays every Friday, and you can let me know what topics you would want us to discuss come Friday next week. Ravenge, you've been a good sport. Go ahead and let me know what you would want us to discuss on Friday. And Lillian, go ahead as well. And let me know what you guys would want us to discuss come Friday. And we will discuss it. But I'm still waiting for why you gave the reasons that you gave. The poor communication, Ravenge, I need you to explain why you said that was the most dangerous killer of relationships. And Lillian, You said unrealistic expectations. I really, really would want to know why you chose that one before we conclude. So I'm waiting on that reason. Ravenge says Lillian says unrealistic expectations. Each partner comes into the relationship with a high expectation of the other one. Yes. Now I understand why you chose it. Before I was wondering why did you choose it? Each partner does come in expecting so much only to get there and it's not what they expected. So I think since that is the most that you think, we should work on it. We go in realistically, clearly expressing what we want or what we expect from the other. That way, that could not destroy our relationships. Ravenge, I'm waiting on you. You said poor communication, and I need to know why you chose that one and why you think that would destroy relationship. Otherwise, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in, Ravenge. Thank you so much. And Lillian says, also, I agree, communication is vital. Because if these unrealistic expectations are not talked about, then the relationship would suffer. You are amazing. One of these days, you guys should join. Ravenge, one of these days, you should join us. And we see you. And Lillian, you should join us. And we see you. We can just share the link and you come in and we do this chat, 3 of us. You guys can drop in your comments of what you think we should discuss next week and we will be able to handle it. Because I know Lillian is good and Ravenge, you are good. I wanted to also hear from the lawyer, economist, and socialist. But I think today he's out and preparing for Eid. Maybe that's why he's not here. Lillian says, I'm staying in the Kamoli. Okay, that would be okay as well, as long as you're contributing. But thank you so much, guys, for podcasting with me, and thank you for the comments. Until next time, when we make yet another video, and you can feel free to drop in the comments what you would want discussed, and then we can be able to discuss it. And together let us meet next Friday. Otherwise, feel free to drop in the comments what you would want us to talk about. Lillian says, what is the topic for next week? I'm waiting on you to drop it in the comments. Let me hear what you have to say. Otherwise, I'm waiting on you, Lillian, to let me know what you think we should talk about for next week. Or Ravenge, a theme. We can talk about, you just give me your pointers and then we can pick from those. I'm waiting to hear what you will say. Maybe we can talk about love, since Ravenge. Next week, who is the exact partner? Okay, that sounds nice. Who is the exact partner? Ravenge has hit the nail, Lillian. So the topic for next week would be okay, it's about relationships, and Ravenge has nailed it to who is the exact partner. How do you know she's the one, or how do you know he's the one? That is our topic for Friday. So keep it right here, 9:40 on Friday next week. And thank you so much for watching. Until next time, guys, bye-bye and good night.